The following podcast may contain spoilers.
Hey everybody, this is Treading the Path of Heaven, your Asian translated literature novel appreciation podcast.
That sounds like what we are.
throw a review in there too.
I mean, yeah, we do very, very rough reviews in the sense of like we're trying to be like, here's the premise and like a story from near the beginning usually.
They're like they're very shallow reviews is the point.
I don't know. My hell reviews are pretty honest.
Yeah, but like that's the point of a like if you're negatively reviewing something, the point of it is not to experience the various things in it. It's to like to bathe in the awfulness of its completed product. You need to experience that 1 + 1 = 0.
Yeah. That's an excellent idea, guy. Who are you though?
Oh, me? I'm Jonathan Kinney. I am your the host here at Treading the Path of Heavens, and I'm joined with my co-hosts.
I'm Richard.
I'm Bill.
And I was once a perennial guest, but now I am a host.
Yep.
So we have me and my two co-hosts and our former
Wait, hold up. Did you just say you're not a host?
I am a host. Oh, I'm a host.
Is that the change in the Portland Saga?
Yep. No, we're on chapter 2 of the Portland Saga,
Yeah.
And I read a book.
Yeah, we had the season premiere, and now episode 2. We transitioned into
the chaos realm, apparently. Like, what the fuck?
Yep. Sun rises in the west, earthquakes happen as normal.
Yeah.
The ocean sits
All
up
very
on
odd business.
I mean, I guess we jumped the shark on episode 20, so we're going for gas now by getting Seth to read.
Yeah,
so you guys
true.
keep listening.
Wait, what was episode 20? How do we jump the shark?
That was Road to Kingdom.
Oh god.
I see.
I don't think that was jumping the shark. I think that was just an honest representation of a shitty sounding book.
I mean, the book is cool if you get past the disgusting, awful sex.
I mean, if you're
I
into
remember
it,
that was basically the main point of our review.
that seems like a thing you'd be into for the disgusting, awful sex, and then the battles come as like an extra, not the other way around.
It is nice that someone has made disgusting, awful sex that you can enjoy and then actually attached a good plot to it. Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, that's usually not
If you go
a
from that
facet of
angle, it's
porn.
incredible creation.
Okay, so updating that one just to point out how awful it is. All right, the main character in that fucked the mermaid, except both kinds. The one with a fish top.
Well,
No, why not both is never the right answer to that question.
why not both is an excellent answer to which mermaid do I want to fuck? Also, Jesus Christ.
All right, guys, we have that on tape. That's,
Oh no!
Yeah, I mean, once we release it.
Yeah, true. So that was episode 20. What are we talking about today, guys?
All right, so this week we're going to be talking about, obviously, a novel that Seth has read, a novel that I personally haven't. It is called The Tutorial is Too Hard.
But you already know that because, the name of the episode, as we mentioned.
I mean, some people like to just download their podcast and hit play, and they don't want spoilers. Okay?
That's true. Well, okay, but spoilers, the book we're reading, the book we talked about.
They're consuming it now, so it's not a spoiler.
It's not a spoiler.
All right.
They just it just occurred naturally.
It's now continuity.
This is the canon experience.
Well, they were also given a spoiler warning at the beginning of the episode, so like...
Yeah, we're not. The spoiler warning is about content in the books, not spoilers for our podcast.
Please, don't be spoiled by the episode name of this podcast.
Like, I mean, I love meta as a concept, but you can go too far.
They're going to go to the Reddit thread and be like, I was wrong by the title.
To be fair, there are a lot of authors that do hide chapter titles.
I think
Spirit
it's
Bomb fails?
Why call it that then? Like, call it something else.
Well, that's the issue. Well, it's because they didn't call it that. The Chinese author did, and when the Chinese author did it, they were trying to get page views.
Yeah,
blank dies,
What?
and he dies in that chapter. Holy shit!
Whereas for us, it's like, of course we're going to be reading the next page. We read the 5,000 pages leading up to this.
We're reading something that's either actively being translated or is finished, and like we know it's finished, so we know there's an ending.
Yeah.
Whereas people reading it on the actual Chinese, the Kidian,
The
Chinese
Raws.
Except when you're lucky or unlucky and you're reading a translated novel that's being translated at the same rate it's being written by the Chinese author, and you get to the end and it's just, you're like, I wonder if this is going to finish. Did I just waste months of my life?
Who knows? Absolute choice.
Make your choice, youth.
It just got, I won't say just got interesting, but like, man, the writing just kept getting more and more interesting. The world building was so on point, and then it's just like, nah, I'm done with this one. I really think he got to the point where he's like, I have no idea how to resolve any of this shit.
He was like,
these characters I've made are too unrealistic.
I don't know what to do with One Pun and Hisoka anymore.
When you write a series where One Pun is not the strong character,
I see. That's the One Punch Man XP.
yeah, he used swords though, so like it was
What
it was
why?
more of a like
It was a nod.
homage
I see.
than a direct character.
Okay.
Yep.
So the book we're talking about, the one that Seth read, is called.
Another person read this.
All right, Richard read it too.
Richard and Seth have both read this, and honestly, one of the reasons we're doing this episode right now is because Seth has, for the first time, experienced the urges of having to talk about a book you're reading.
I just want to talk about the story. It's a good story.
He's an outer sect member of the
okay.
F5 sect, okay? He's finally reached that outer sect position, and one day he will join me and my other senior brother.
I don't know. I would say I know the stuff about this one. You guys gotta join me on being caught up on this stupid book.
The F5 sect isn't about your book. The F5 sect is about the pain of having to hit F5 to refresh and wait for that next chapter.
Oh, just in general.
I mean,
Yeah.
this is how you get initiated. When it's 4 a.m, but you have work the next day, and you've just reached the end of a novel, and you're shocked that you're out of war to read.
You're like, no,
and you're refreshing it. Every day you wake up and hit refresh. Is there a chapter? Yeah, there's a chapter.
I remember those old days of Coiling Dragging being like, oh no, there's only $60 in the queue. Should I donate $20? I wouldn't want the next chapter to be delayed. Like poor Rin being like the one time. I remember one time he was being like, oh man, my queue's empty. I get to, and like 10 minutes after he posted that, he's like, you guys are monsters.
It was like, oh man, thanks for reminding us.
Oh yeah, your queue's empty. We
It
could
was-
definitely put
It
more
was
work
like
on that pile.
5 chapters filled like 10 minutes later.
I do have to say though, if I have the option of donating for this book to get more than the penance of
3
books of chapters I get, it used to be less. I started reading this book, The Tutorial is Too Hard, literally a year ago, and I took a break to let it build up
Only
because it didn't
150
update
chapters.
enough. Right? Like I stopped at first when it was like at like 20.
That's rough.
And then you're like, hey, man, I'm going to start reading it. I guess I'll see how much they have. And my mind was blown that it had as many as it did.
158 is what we're on right now.
I get you. I took a break from Dolo Dalu to see if it could finish, and then I could read all the last chapters in one like big spurt. But like, there's still, I don't know, like 12 from the end or some shit. It's absurd. I think there's been like 3 chapters since I stopped. It's rough.
It'll end soon.
It's very close. They're on like 24. I think 36 is the end. 26, 36. Whatever. This is not the
Yeah.
Dolo Dalu
So
podcast.
we're talking about The Tutorial is Too Hard, which I would like Bill to read the novel translations or not novel updates thing for. Blah, blah.
On a normal, boring day, a message appears, inviting him to a tutorial. A tale about Lee Ho-jae and his escape from the tutorial. But he just happened to choose the hardest possible difficulty. Hell.
Just happened to.
Is that it?
That's it.
Just
That's-
happened to is a weird
3 lines.
characterization.
No. So let me explain our main character. Lee Ho-jae is a character I really enjoy because I can vastly understand where he comes from.
Okay.
He is an ex-professional gamer
Okay.
who
Who got too old
and just
so he
started
retired.
drinking in his home.
Yeah, started drinking.
I can't
He
keep
was
up with
drunk.
them kids.
No, that's not it. He never worked hard.
Yeah, he wasn't trying to keep up. He
He
just did
always
very good,
do-
and then when he wasn't doing very good anymore, he just
Well,
Yeah.
the thing is, he was not great about practicing, but he had a good mindset. He would use his knowledge of the game and his natural execution to just mess over people. He never had to work hard for anything.
Mhm.
And that stems from something they cover later with like his father never understanding his career and his career choice, and two, him as a person.
Okay.
his
And-
career where he was actually making money,
Like crazy amounts.
like he was a actual professional gamer, and his dad's like, "When are you gonna stop playing those games?" He's like, "What the fuck are
It's
you
my
talking
career.
about?"
About making money.
Like
Literally, he went to go visit his father in the hospital.
where he is paying
He
for
paid
his father's
all of the
hospital care
bills
with his
off the
gaming.
gaming, and his father tells him, "When are you gonna quit doing that?" Like he's an embarrassment, and he left.
It's because the Chinese, not Chinese, the Korean father has the foresight to be like, in like 2 years, when you're an ancient dinosaur in the gaming community, you're gonna need some other skills.
You're saying that he's got a very good idea of the professional gaming community? No, that seems right
no.
for Korean fathers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean,
would
in a
believe it.
sense, you could argue that Korea started the professional gaming.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna disagree. I mean, as a kid, I was inspired by watching Warcraft 3 and StarCraft played at a obscenely high level, like everyone else. You know.
Okay.
So
More
let's talk.
Zerglings for your butthole.
Let's talk about Lee Ho-jae. Ho-jae is he's an interesting guy. He when he first enters the tutorial. Well, okay, so it says in that he just happened to pick the hell difficulty. He was drunk. I mean, like he was in his apartment just drinking,
Mhm.
and the thing came up and it gave him easy, normal, hard, hell. And so he, being drunk and also having been a professional gamer, is like,
He was
got
hella
this.
competent.
Yeah.
I'm really good at everything I touch.
Whatever this is.
Okay, well, I mean, like, there's a certain point to that, right? Because like, games are meant to be beatable.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if hell mode is meant to be beatable at some level, then if you're one of the top percentile gamers on the planet, which you are even as a retired pro gamer,
Yeah.
You can
then
make it
hell
in.
should be the appropriate difficulty
But
for you.
but here's the issue, okay? Here's the issue. One, the other people who end up in hell are also situations where I was drunk and overconfident. I was on a roller coaster. The pop-up happened. I raised my hand up and touched
He
it.
hit
and
it
ended
by
up in hell.
mistake.
Let's see here.
Well, one's a chuny, and one just like thought she could. She was just like, I got this. I'm awesome.
Also, the hard difficulty is obscenely difficult, guys.
Yeah, so
course.
what I mentioned at one point that the point of this book at one point is what happens to a person when they spend a lot of time alone. Leo J spends a lot of time alone because everybody dies immediately. Like, he comes in with 3 people. It's 4 people in like a waiting room, and he's like, "Whoa, what's this?" And he's immediately like not drunk, and the people are like, they've all picked a weapon, and the chuny high schooler girl has like a huge katana, and he's like, "That's stupid. You're not gonna.
You're gonna.
That's gonna be bad
literally,
for
he's
you."
like, "That's a bad choice." He like knew that is a bad
This is
choice.
a poor
And-
idea. He goes sword and board immediately because like that's
Yeah.
the right move.
He goes,
like,
I don't know how to use an actual sword, so I'll get something short and something to protect me.
gives like a gladius and a shield, like the
Ease of
right
use.
choice.
Yeah.
So they talk for a bit, and they're like, "Wow, this is crazy. We're in like this is not like reality, I guess.
Oh.
I don't know. Let's do the
And
thing."
when you arrive, you're also given some basic jerkies and water.
You're given an
And they're,
infinite amount of
Well,
jerky and water.
It's not an infinite.
But
It's finite, but you don't need to eat to live. But it's bad for your psyche. Like, it's bad for your mind to sit there and just starve.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like, the reason why that's a big key is there's a thing that happens in the story on the lower levels of people who don't want to progress, who just stay in the first couple rooms and beat up on new people joining
Because
and taking their water and their jerky since they have no points to get food.
So the way other people show up is there are like rounds, and so the first round, Lee Ho-jae gets got, and the 3 people with him, and all the people, you know,
Like,
they
like
fill up all the
hundreds
other.
in easy,
Yeah.
and hundreds in normal, and like 20 or 30 in hard,
And then 4 people
in hell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then he goes to the first floor, and it's just a hallway, and he's like, "Ooh, okay," and starts walking down the hallway, gets about, I don't know, 50 or so feet, and gets shot in the ankle with an arrow. Like just out of the gate.
Excruciating pain, and he was like pain so bad that you want to throw up because you can't clean through the bone
Immediately. And
awful.
so he falls to the ground,
And then another arrow comes and whizzes where his head was gonna be.
yeah, so he's like, "Oh, there's a traps floor. Cool." And starts like heading backward because the portal that he came through from the waiting room is still there.
While bleeding to death, by the way. So he's
Yeah.
crawling the longest 50 feet of his life,
So
bleeding to death in
so
excruciating
he's
pain.
getting close to the door, and he had been given a note that like every time you go to the waiting room, you are healed completely. So like, cool. I'll just go heal, and then I'll start over, and I'll know where the traps are this time.
Yeah.
And he gets to the door and thinks, I wonder if I go back in with this arrow in my ankle, is it gonna grow over?
Heal over my ankle, and I'll
is
be
my ankle
crippled
gonna
forever.
get fucked up? Yeah. Am I gonna just not be able to walk from here forward? I should probably take it out. So he just starts man moding it, grabs it, and like just is trying to pull it out, like twist, pull, twist.
Pain resistance.
Yeah. So then a little
Level
thing comes
1.
up, like pain resistance level 1. He's like, oh, I can gain
man,
skills like
that
this.
first skill that you get like that in any of these isekai game modes, I'm always like, yes.
So he does. He just sits there and like wiggles an arrow in his ankle until he gets like pain resist level 3, and then he cuts the bottom off and pulls it out and goes back in. And as he passes out in the waiting room, he's like, probably could have just left it in. Like, and then passes out. Like,
by the way, the whole time he's man moding and getting those points, he's bleeding to death, and he will actually die if he doesn't get in that room in time, because he's getting lightheaded while it's happening.
yeah, like he fell through into the waiting room as he passed out. Like, he was on the brink of death. But he figures out he can get levels from self-harm. So that's
That is
ongoing
both a
trend.
gift and a curse, because it's good
This doesn't awaken anything.
for... It's really good for stats and surviving, but it's really bad for your brain
And your
soul
social status.
and
What are you
your-
talking about? People love it whenever they see a guy just walking around cutting at their arm.
Yeah,
with cross
it's
hand.
totally normal.
And he also started sharing the things he's found out in this situation.
Yeah, he
So,
starts
like,
writing like tutorial bits for people because he wants them to survive hell mode. He's lonely and bored. So
you can get stronger pain resistance and also paralysis resistance if you take the poison arrows from floor 2 and you dig into it and you get into the nerves.
yeah, you gotta look for the nerves.
You
If you
gotta
don't
look for the
look for
nerve?
the nerves, you're not gonna get like the paralysis resist. Like you gotta hit the nerves. Once you hit the nerves, you know you're actually getting the
And
skill.
then cauterize it with a heat stone to build your burn and heat
my
resistance
God.
right after that.
He
people are like, are you nuts? Like, what is going on?
No, I'm
he
a survivor.
immediately started breaking the system. Like that. That's what his goal, it seems like, was. Even though I don't think that's what his goal was here. His goal was just to get, like, he
His goal is to
realized he could
survive.
grind. He realized he could grind, and so he does the first floor, and he gets to like the first floor boss room, which is traps, like a
Let's
bunch
do
of
it
traps.
again.
And then he gets through, and he gets to the. Does he meet his manager after the first floor or after like
He
the
meets it
fifth?
after the first floor, but to put this in motion though, he gets to that last on the first floor. He gets to that in front of the boss door, and he's like, nah, we're gonna do this a few more times.
Yeah,
goes back to
turns
the
around.
front, and he starts just making runs of it. But the thing is, it's because every single trap he's encountered has been worse and worse and worse, and his life has been in danger and danger and danger. And he's like, it's only gonna get worse.
Yeah.
And this is hell. He
correctly learned the lesson.
This is
from
hell
the tutorial.
difficulty. It wants to kill me.
Yeah, for sure.
And like,
It's survivable, but it wants to kill him. And yeah, like it's so the first level, it's like a program of traps. Like he knows where the stuff is.
it's patterns. And then when he goes in the boss room, he's learned because all the patterns and all the training, he's learned these ability like skills like battle concentration. He's gotten more agile, gotten more things, right? But he discovers the first boss room is the first time encountering a patternless trap.
Yeah,
And
there's
he's
a bunch
on
of
a
traps
tightrope.
going off at once in one room, and he's gotta use his actual wits. Oh, by the way, once you enter a boss room, you can't go back to the waiting room. Like that's the thing. It's like Dark Soulsy kind of in that the place that you do the actual boss room is its own place, and like once you do that, you can leave, but you got to do that. So he survives or whatever, and a portal opens up, and it's like, hey, floor 1 completed. As the first person to clear the floor, you get extra points.
You get your bonus.
First person to clear floor 1.
Yeah, the first person to clear floor 1 hell mode. The fact
So
that
he's getting a lot of
also he
bonuses.
was faster than the hard guys as well.
If this was over geared, he'd be getting a lot of titles.
No, he's getting a ton of bonuses. No titles.
But this is the first thing you see though. As soon as he does that, the god of adventure pities you.
The god of slowness is interested in you because whatever. So then he goes through the portal onto like this big green plane and meets a bunny girl who is his manager person and answers just questions about the tutorial and like helps him.
At a cost, by the way.
At a cost.
Hidden cost.
Yeah.
A hidden cost to answer questions.
He figures out really quickly that you can only ask a certain amount of questions, and it's not the questions themselves, it's like the answers you get from them.
the gravity
So,
of the
like-
answers.
Like, the more important the information is, the less questions you get. But if you ask a bunch of bullshit information, you can ask a lot of questions. So he starts figuring out, like, to save his questions and...
Another thing is, if you need important information and the manager likes you, they can try to answer it as best they can.
Yeah, with, like,
Wow.
short sentences.
Short words put together, and you just figure it out. Please. This is all I can do for what you have.
Here, you have, like, not a lot of space left for questions.
That's pretty funny.
You can have this sentence. Second, foreign. Cool. Bye. Like,
Two things. A, that was 2 words, not a sentence. B, let's clarify. Is this a bunny girl or is this a girl in a bunny outfit?
no, that's a bunny girl.
Okay.
Her name's Kiri
Definitely
Kiri.
an animal can.
Yeah, she is
On a 0 to 100 scale, where 0 is a bunny and 100 is a full human.
70.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Like probably actually furry. I think he's described her face as furry once. Has ears.
Oh, no, I think
All
she
right,
has
so a
ears,
mink.
but she isn't furry.
Yeah, okay.
Like she's cute, like something you would do. But the thing is, Kiri becomes, I'm not gonna say like she's not a mascot in the thing, but like the last vestiges of this dude's like ability to socialize with people normally without breaking down.
And it's kind of the same the other way around because again, he's the only one in hell mode.
Oh, and she's pretty
and
lonely.
she's
She'd be lonely
the
too,
hell
yeah.
one. So like sucks for her. She's got one dude to talk to every so often. Anyway,
She's
so
the
he's-
hell Janet.
pretty much, yes. So he starts buying bad Janet indeed. He starts buying her cakes to get on her good side, and then goes off to the next floor of the tutorial where he starts walking down a hallway again. He's like, "Oh, cool! It's another one of these," and he realizes he had been starting to like hear the traps, and so he's like, "Oh, cool! I recognize the
arrows
traps."
coming.
Yeah. Oh, it's an arrow. Now there's no sound.
They're silent.
There's just arrows coming. And he's got to do it from seeing it or hearing the arrow fly through the air instead of hearing the twang
Yeah.
of the trap.
Also, they're poisonous too.
Yeah,
Of
now the
course.
arrows are poisonous.
Well, that's fine. Didn't he gain poison resistance?
No, that-
No, he's about to. Like he's gonna grab a poison arrow, stick his arm with it, put a couple in his backpack, go to the waiting room, continually poison himself, heal, poison himself, heal.
The arrows have more force, so they go through his really shitty shield instantly
Ooh,
if he doesn't block
like
them
through
correctly.
it.
Boom! In your arm!
I do love this like Oblivion-esque style of leveling by just do the thing and you get leveled.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. It's
Can you
great.
walk into a wall and just gain running skills?
Just jump in one place. You get acrobatics.
He does like gain the blessing of a wind elemental, like a baby wind elemental,
like,
which
one of
gives
the
him like
first things he
movement
gets.
stuff because like that can happen in this. Like things can happen.
It seems
there
like a
are
lot of
other
people get
things
it, too.
invested in this world besides the gods. The gods are doing this for our benefit.
Yeah, okay,
But-
so like here's I like spoiler I guess, but like here's a little bit more of why this even exists cuz that's not crazy far
Go
in.
for it, man.
So like after the second round happens, like people that were out when the first round happened bring in news. And so they're like, "Hey man, this is that crazy thing people were disappearing into?" Okay. So like
Oh,
right
It's like
after
Sword Art Online, but they had a whole second group of people that jumped in.
they're on like 60 now. Like it keeps bringing in sets of
It's
people.
like every month, like a new round starts.
It's
Gotcha.
it's ridiculous.
And
That's
more
actually
people
awesome.
are coming in, and they bring in news, and people are just like, "What's going on?" And over on the normal server and the easy server, they created like a newspaper, where like the news from out the outside world gets distributed every month.
And they could put it on the auction house and sell it to everybody else in different difficulties, so it works.
Oh, auction house doesn't appear until later difficulties when like was it 30?
Yeah, 30.
There's 100. There's 100 levels. You get to
100 floors.
100 floors. You get to floor 100. You get to leave. You go outside. You're a Superman because all of your buff stats.
You keep
of
all
that
your
is
shit.
a thing.
And you get to take an item, one item, I think.
Certain items can come out. Certain items can't come out.
Yeah.
There's limits to the amount
And
that
you can choose any item if you win in hell difficulty.
We don't know because
Yeah,
no one
no one's
has
even gotten
ever
close.
gotten out of it.
You actually just become the ruler of the tutorial.
This
So,
is told in 2 points in the timeline. It jumps from what's going on with Hojay when he was in the beginning going through, what's going on with Hojay 10 years in the future in floor 60.
Yeah, after he's been living in this
Gotcha.
fucking box for 10 years and like grinding his way through video game levels and been mostly alone the whole time.
Oh yeah.
Here's what 10 years later looks like.
Wow. It is a crazy experience. Hojay is terrifying.
Well, yeah.
No.
He is so
You
at
don't
one point somebody's like, "Hey, we one of the first events that happens in the game is where in the tutorial, because it's not the game. The game is happening outside. By the way, everybody's getting strong inside the tutorial because there's monsters in the real world now that are just fucking everything up.
Destroying like cities and doing stuff.
Just fucking everything
The
up.
tutorial is there as a gift to the heroes, or a gift to humanity to defend their world from invaders.
Yeah.
Okay.
The
'Cause,
gods
like,
are helping you out.
Yeah, kind of we need
Well,
superheroes, so let's
we think.
make superheroes.
We're not sure.
They showed up at the same time, so they could have also just thrown the monsters in for fun. Who knows? But
This could be a giant god betting ring.
Man,
Yeah,
Wild Arms 2 has a
absolutely.
really good story, guys.
That is a feasible
that seems
thing.
very likely, actually. So one of the first events in the tutorial is like after round 3, they figure out that there's like an issue. It's what Richard was talking about. Those guys that were just hanging out on the first couple floors, bothering all the newbies coming
and
in.
raping and
Raping, killing, stealing their
all that
food,
other stuff,
like,
beating
shitty.
people into submission, being terrible.
Shitty people. So the tutorial, maybe I don't know what brought it about. Maybe the gods.
system, the
the
architect
system.
in the system was like, when there's something outside of the system's ability to prevent things, we have something called the Day of Harmony, where you guys need to fix this issue, or we're gonna keep having these Day of Harmonies until you fix this issue.
It stops the game and forcibly brings everybody to one room.
One area, and it's like Kiri's Fields, basically.
Yeah.
And y'all are gonna hang out for 24 hours here, and y'all need to solve this
Figure
problem,
this shit out.
or we're gonna have another one. And it only ever happens when something awful is happening in the game on this server. There's servers for each area.
Each country, it seems like.
Each country has their own server for people. There's an America server, there's Australia, Japan.
It doesn't
whatever.
matter where you're from, it matters where you are, because later on they cross over with the Australian server, and there's just a Korean dude that's like, I was on vacation. Like, it was, oh God.
Yeah. That I'm not gonna spoil that one because that is an incredible scene. The first day of Harmony and the rise of the Protectorate.
Oh God!
The Protectors.
I'm just the
it's
whole
so
reason I wanted to
good.
talk about that is because they're like everybody's trying to show off. Later on in another meeting, in another crossover thing, people are trying to show off.
They think
and
they're bad.
Like,
They think they're good.
Oh, our hell guy, he's at level. He's
Floor
on
6.
floor. Yeah, he's on floor 6. What floor are you on?
It's actually ridiculous though.
Floor
Like-
6 is disgusting.
Like if you're floor 6 hell difficulty by yourself, no help, like Hoj, same as him. That's amazing because
Yeah.
floor 6 is a party. You have to have a party to win that.
Yeah, it's a
normally.
partied floor, and
5
Hoj's like,
players
nah,
to win it.
I'm just gonna
Hoj
go.
soloed it, but it took him so long, and it broke him as a person.
Yeah, no, don't even talk about floor 6 because that really changes like how you approach the concept of a floor in the tutorial.
Floor
like,
3's ending and floor 6. Floor 3 changed his mentality. Floor 6 broke him down. And then it moved forward, and you keep getting these episodes. I'm not gonna say episodes. Each floor feels like a different story.
Some they skip over, some like they focus on, but like the ones that they focus on are the ones worth focusing on, obviously, because it's like stuff like I don't even want to talk about the.
I mean, I hope you like
the
Nightmare
scope
Worlds.
of
Like,
them, because the scope of them is
They
the
can
interesting
change.
part.
Like if you like the beginning, you don't like more because it becomes less of a. This is a skill difficulty. Then it becomes a mental difficulty. Then it becomes impossible odds. Then it becomes stuff that you're so strong compared to what you should be. You trivialize the combat aspect of it, but the mind aspect of it,
Is never.
because the game is fucking with you on purpose.
Yeah.
And the loneliness is exasperating. Like it's escalating the thing where he begins seeking emotional investment in the people and the monsters
there's
and the
one-
things in the fucking story.
There's one that I can talk
'Cause at
very
least they're
vaguely
there.
about. Floor 13. I can talk vaguely about floor
Yeah,
13.
talk about floor 13.
He's trying to work his way through a temple to the god of duel. And so there are like these rooms, and each one of the rooms there is an opponent who is a duelist, a worshiper of the god of duel, and he's just got to beat them.
Every
So-
single one of them is a really nice guy, though.
Super nice guys. So like even after he beats them, they're like, "That was a great fight, man. Thanks." Like laying on the ground,
Bleeding,
dying,
dying.
like dying, and they're like, "That was a great fight, man. Thanks. I learned some new shit." And he's like, "Cool."
But you're gonna.
And then moves on, and then like after a couple, he starts being friends with the like talking to them more, like talking to them about their techniques that they're using and like what he's doing and getting a better idea of like the area around the Temple of Duel and like
Trying really hard to not just kill some of them,
Yeah.
and or like being shocked that these people are so nice. He's like, I would never do what they're doing, letting me rest and all this other stuff.
yeah, he like walks in and
Pointing
they're
out-
like, "You look like you haven't gotten used to the way this room functions yet. Why don't you
Oh, yeah.
take some
The
time?"
rooms are changing. They're taking away senses.
Yeah,
each
yeah.
room.
That's that. Oh, dude, it's so fucking like
That
okay.
could even beat Kenshin.
You walk
So
into
nice.
this one, your hearing's gone. You walk into this one, your hearing and your sight's gone. You walk into this one, now you can't feel. Go ahead, fight, sir. You can't feel.
Oh, and also you've expended a bunch of your like energy and your like your ability to extrasensory getting here because the fights have not been easy. dudes have been way stronger
And they
now.
let you rest, but they
They
don't
let
let
you
you recover.
But
Like,
another issue is, yes, the way the guys fight are like extra honorable. Like he actually starts pointing out the way you fight seems like you shouldn't be like praising the god of duel. You should kind of be like with the god of slowness, and the god of duel just like you see him like shrug and then nod and then point, and then the god of slowness smiles, and it's like it's funny because the gods are their own characters, and the god of adventure is a bro. But
you've never actually seen any of the gods. They just show up as reactions to Hojei's like doings. It's explained later on that they can just like watch his thoughts and like watch through his eyes, and he's the one that they're watching mostly. Like,
I mean,
there are other people to watch, surely,
like,
but
there's thousands of gods in the pantheon as
gotta
well.
watch Shirley.
And as he climbs up and more gods want him, he gains
like god powers.
like they can give him gifts. They can only give him gifts one time, but that's a different thing. But continue your story about Floor 13.
It's the whole reason I was talking about Floor 13 is because he's starved for human contact. He starts getting really chummy with these dudes, and by the end, he's like, fuck, man, I don't even want to talk about the actual fight, like the end fight, because it's just crazy.
I assume, I mean, if I was writing that floor, the whole point of that would be for him to intentionally have made friends with the things to make the emotional challenge that much worse at the end.
Yeah, no, it is.
But then I mean, it goes from like, man, I am fucked up in the head to, hey, you want to spend like what feels like thousands of years in your own head doing introspection and losing your sense of self?
Oh, so like that scene in Metal Gear Solid where you have to walk through the corridor of bodies.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, like, in that you are
Look at what you've done.
I mean, like you lose your sight, your hearing, your feel.
Everything that proves that you're alive is gone. You have no connection to your body,
and so now you're just kind of like a brain, like hanging out in a body, and you like it's he starts losing his mind because the guy is talking to him, but it's the only thing that he can do is like talk to this guy to keep him from going completely crazy so he can fight.
24 hours. I'm going to speak the entire time to try to help you from like losing your sense of self and just dying while your body's alive.
Yeah, the boss room fight is 2 steps. Step 1, survive in this room for 48 or 24 hours.
He was like, if I double it, will you give me a prize?
Yeah. Can I do 48? Will you give me some shit if I do 48? And he's like,
and the old
I
monk
don't
is
know
like,
why you would
are
want
you
to.
serious right
Like,
now?
Don't do that.
Yeah, that's a bad idea, but if you
Like-
can, I guess I'll help you as much as I can. And then the other fight is survive against me for 10 minutes.
After
After that 24 hour of getting
If I do 20, can I get a prize?
But here's the problem though. Here's the real fucked up thing is there's a secret debuff that he has on himself, or I guess buff, that is really fucking him up during this. It's terrifying. I'm not gonna spoil it, but it's so fucked up to do that in entirely 100% sensory deprivation. It's cruel. The story is cruel. Then they give him like happy floors.
Well, yeah.
And those floors are also cruel.
You walk into happy floors going, there's no way this ends well. Like
you're that much more scared because you're like, how is this going to be horrifyingly
yeah, like
twisted?
this is so pure and wonderful. Oh no. Like
what was that island? Island.
Oh god, the island.
Oh my god, and they have a drink that lets you sense other people's thoughts.
Yeah,
everyone's thoughts share.
It's an emotion sharing drink. It's everybody drinks the drink and everybody shares emotions.
And it's a month-long party. And it's lovely and it's amazing.
And then it gets fucked up because that's just how it works, man. Like that's how it works. Listen, I'm not spoiling anything by saying that Lee Ho-jae can have nothing good in his life because they show you current Lee Ho-jae and clearly he has nothing good in his life. Like things are going poorly.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's nice when you have a story that shows you the future too. It precludes a lot of spoilers because they're inherent in the later part of the story.
What gets me though is not only does like future Ho-jae have so many regrets because he's also training up a new person who's the first person to land in Korean hell, because he gets Korean hell banned. He gets hell banned from Korea for a hot minute.
He convinces the Korean government to make it illegal to enter the hell difficulty, because he's like, no one's gonna survive it, and what's the point? Like, don't.
But they have an Olympic archer girl. She's an Olympic archer from Korea. She joins on mistake. It was not on purpose.
The whole push in the future, like current Hojai, is that he has hit a level that he cannot go past without another person.
Because of rules.
In the game, in the book, it said, think about it like in Portal 2, the multiplayer.
Yeah.
You can't do it without another person. Even if you were to make a fake person, or make something that, like an automaton or whatever, it will not work,
because it doesn't qualify as a challenger on the thing. It's not recognized by the gods or the system, so you can't move forward.
The one poor guy is just like, fuck. Well, I can't move.
He's not doing nothing though. He begins to try to engineer his own way out while also training up this girl who just joined, sending her items, sending her things, giving her tech, but not baiting her so she can get her own skills up.
Yeah.
But teaching her like things early that he didn't have options for, like magic.
Yeah. Here, take these couple spells. Like, you're probably going to need them. And also, I think, well, like, he gives her a nice bow early out. Like, she gets the starting bow, but he like sends her a nice one.
I'm not gonna lie. I would love to like read a story from her perspective.
Oh, you get that? It's great.
Delightful.
Happens a couple times.
Floor 17.
Floor 17's all
Floor 17 from her viewpoint. Please, if you do nothing, you owe yourself to read to that point.
Yeah.
Right.
They have a floor where it's basically a game of Mafia, and it's great.
It's a game of werewolf. I will forever argue, but that's fine. Like, it's true. It's a closed room mystery, and it's a game of Mafia. Like, but it's incredible.
But it's still hard difficulty Mafia.
Of course,
it's really messed up.
Hell difficulty Mafia, man.
Mafia is not hard enough already.
Yeah, really.
And if he had made the wrong decision, it would have been game over.
Yeah, it's one of those, man. It's a book that you think you know what it's doing, but it doesn't know what it's doing when it walks into those situations. Like, the guy who's writing it, Bill, what's the actual author's name? Not the guy who's translating it. That's Boko right now, because
Jeez, man.
I'm sorry, Bill.
The author is Gandara.
That guy, Gandara, obviously is having a lot of fun, or was having a lot of fun writing this, because it goes in very unexpected directions, and it's a lot of fun to read.
And you get invested in these characters that you literally Hojai only gets to speak to them through the forum, because he's not on their difficulty, he's not on their floors,
and sometimes like
in the
group events,
the
where
Day of
everybody has to
Harmony,
get-
or the tournaments that happen randomly.
God, the
or
tournaments.
the cross-server tournaments that happen randomly.
Cross-server tournaments are fucking nuts. Oh boy, people.
Well, yeah, but I mean that's just tournament arcs.
And during the cross-server tournaments, there's no auto-healing. People just die.
Yep.
So they're trying to maintain the safety, and the way they maintain safety is because of all the Days of Harmony and all the fucked up shit that happened here. There's no, we discipline you and you do better. We can't jail you because it's tutorial. I'm not there with you.
Yeah.
But what we can do? We can just kill you.
Yeah, we can just
so
murder
if you
you.
break the rules, you just die.
The formation of the what's the name of the group? The Guardian group thing is one of the best examples of just like, well, I mean, if I can't trust you to be a good person, then like be dead, please, because that's easier.
And my rules are absolute, and it becomes a situation where it's like, hey, when you get out of the tutorial, let Korea know that when they're in the tutorial, it is our law. If say a government like or the prime minister or any government stuff come in here trying to enforce Korean laws in here, we will kill him too, because it's against our law.
It's our law
to not follow our law.
Yeah, it's our law.
You
follow our law, and that's it. On the Korean server, I guess when they do the cross server tournaments, they're like, hey everybody, by the way, we established a police force, so don't fucking do anything. We will kill you.
Will fucking kill
Like,
you.
You better be strong enough to kill all of us when
Yeah.
you follow our law.
Yeah,
And if for some
pretty
reason you're
much.
strong enough to do it, we have OJ.
Oh,
We
yeah.
have the strongest being.
So the a story that I was trying to tell a while back is during one of those cross server tournaments, they're trying to show off. They're like, hey, we've got a guy that's level 102. That's pretty fucking crazy. Who's your strongest guy? And Hojai's like 256. Like, what? He's like, yeah, 256. And they're like, oh. What? Because no one would ever be that high. It's about a level per floor unless you're grinding, and people really don't grind
The
unless they're in
strongest
hell or
person that has ever left before they're covered it. They have like literally equivalent of Superman, people who've gotten out of the hard difficulty or grinded really hard in normal difficulty, made it out and are protecting countries and shit, right?
even the people that got out of easy difficulty are still
They're like
really
level 100
strong.
and they're really strong and they're able to protect their people.
Yeah.
The problem is stronger, like triple S class monsters are showing up. There's people who get out of R hard are usually S class, right?
Yeah.
They're like level 100, level 150, maybe. The dude who really wanted to fight Hojai, who was always trying to compete with Hojai, who only saw Hojai as a target, who he gave a ring when he was like new, because he had a blitz stuff and he wanted to learn, he wanted to gain lightning abilities.
Blitz
and-
their thing for electricity for whatever reason.
But this kid is amazing. He stays in the
He
tutorial
is pretty
for
awesome.
10 years to try to get as strong as Hojai, who was stuck on 60. And he was like, I can do this. And he stayed grinding on floor 90 for 10 years. He could have left at any time.
He was so inspired by Hojai because in the first day of Harmony, he like meets up with him. He's like, "Oh, I heard somebody can do blitz magic. I need to build blitz resistance. Can you grab him for me?" And he brings him into his tent and he starts shocking him. And he's like,
Do that more, dude.
"What are you doing? Fine, that's fine. Could you try harder?" And he's like, "That would hurt." And he's like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
And,
That's
and
the
he
point.
starts trying harder, and he eventually is like, and pulls out from his own stock, like, here's a ring that will give you 2 extra levels of blitz, please. And then he forgets to get the ring back, and now the kid's just like, oh, Hojai's the coolest guy. He gave me a very powerful item when it was a bullshit item that Hojai was never gonna use.
Yeah.
The item was like, it gives you the feeling of having that stat so you can level up. So you can know the feeling. So learning forward, it's easier.
Yeah.
But you still have to put in crazy amounts of work. And
Yeah.
the kid just put in crazy amounts of
That's
work.
not to say that the kid didn't deserve it. The
and
kid
then he
was
got
awesome.
extra confident. He thought everyone was trash except me and Hojai. And then he realized Hojai is like, you're overconfident, kid. Like it was like tournament.
No,
2.
everyone is
Yeah.
trash except for me.
Everybody is trash except for Hojai.
That's
That
why
is
he
accurate.
got the kid to leave after 10 years. Because was it the girl who's the leader of the who he saved and then became the leader of the protector group and became the main executioner of bad dudes? She's a
core.
fucking badass,
She's
by
the
the
hardest
way.
core.
And then they had like a romance or something, and then some shit happened. Whatever. But she was like, you really need to get him to leave. He has to get out because the founders have left. He's been here for so long, and he's the strongest we have. He needs to get out there and start doing stuff. And he's like, can you talk to him,
We have
Hojai?
new,
And
we
he
have
was
new
like,
messages to pass to the Korean government. He needs to get out, please. Like,
and then he talks to him, and the dude's talking to him, and he's like, man, I think it's time to go. You're really strong. And then what breaks the kid's spirit, like 10 years, he's not kid. What's this grown man spirit is, they have a conversation, and he was like, so what level, he asks Hojai, what level are you? It's like 350.
last time he heard a level was at the second tournament or whatever when he was like 251 or whatever, and not that early. Whatever, he gave that number last time
to
they
not
asked
break
him.
people's brains.
Yeah, he last time they asked him, he was at 300, but he gave him 251 because like, yeah, he didn't want people to feel too bad. But when Kid actually asked him, he's like, yeah, it's 353. And he's like, fuck, man.
You've been trapped on the 60th floor for so long. How?
He
There's ways, like the level. He didn't explain that the levels mean absolutely nothing.
Yeah, the levels are just like, hey, you did a thing, congratulations. But it's not.
Also, this is what we estimate your strength to be. He's way above that.
Yeah,
there's
like-
no number to quantify just how strong this dude actually is.
He stops getting rewards after a while.
At level 20, he stops getting rewards.
Because he's not getting any level up rewards because he's getting the rewards in between level ups by grinding to the ridiculous degree that he does.
Pushing his body limit, getting as much knowledge as he can, learning swordsmanship from people in the floors, learning stuff,
convinces
learning
people to teach him.
languages.
This is the Chinese main character is what this is.
Yeah.
He's a great dude.
He
he's not
also-
a great dude, but
Also, it feels like he's like building up for a war against the gods. He's like begun to manipulate behind the scenes and like block the gods' visions of him.
That's
and
how you get through floor 60.
doing stuff.
well, his
Change the system.
the
Pretty
thing
much.
that I think he talked to Kiri, who pointed out to him like the gods really like you because you don't guard your thoughts at all. You just like think your things and they're into it. They can just watch that really easy. So they're into it because he just feeds them his brain, like his train of consciousness. He just gives it to him. Like, here you go. You're fine. Watch it.
Here's the problem. That was part of. He has severe mental illness. It's bad. Even with mental
It would have to be.
corruption resistance, he is so mentally ill. It hurts.
Yeah.
Like self-harm is his escape. Like it becomes more than just habitual.
Yeah.
There's some times where he just has like breakdowns, but he doesn't realize that his privacy has been invaded at all times. Like even when he's having like private time with his girlfriend at that time on the tournament days, the guys are still watching him.
Oh yeah. God of
And
Adventure was really
God of
into it.
Adventure blushes.
God of Adventure.
I
You never
love God of
see the
Adventure.
gods. You just see how they react to stuff. And the God of Adventure, he's into people having to struggle to overcome. Like that's
Then he would definitely be a bro to our main character.
because-
yeah.
But God of Slowness, like people who overcome, like who are persistent and get through things by repeating over and over and over
Which
again.
It's like pretty
being
much the gods are
methodical.
just all about this.
Yeah.
What you got, Bill?
It's just it likes things methodical.
Yeah.
Oh, God of Death likes him a lot because of all of the tragedy he's existed.
Yeah,
He's
he
had.
just kills like crazy.
God of Life can't stand his ass.
God of Life does not like him. God of Death has given him stuff quietly. Like he got a soul capture power, and he's like, "Oh, what do I got this from?" Like probably the God of Death guy.
And-
like
Yeah, most likely.
And then the God of Death found a way to give him two things because God of Death is creepy like that, but also God of Death gave him an awesome thing, and then he was like, I immediately regret giving you that. So you read the skills like the God of Death regrets giving you this.
yeah, like right after he's gotten it. Well, okay, thanks for letting me know.
Thanks anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, but the cool thing is his patron gods are God of Slowness and God of Adventure, and you get to see them interact because they both want him to be their apostle, right?
Yeah.
But you get to see like God of Adventure goes to God of Slowness's domain or room, and is lording over there, hanging out with God of Slowness, watching him. And when he compliments God of Adventure is feeling like smiles confidently. God of Slowness throws something at God of Adventure. God of Adventure is fleeing from God of Slowness's room.
It's fantastic. Like you get a very good idea of the interplay between these gods, even though you've never seen them. Like it's fantastic.
That's
I'm
great.
really excited to get to the Great White Hall of Gods or whatever and meet some of them eventually. Who knows?
Yon Pantheon.
Oh yeah, and the gods are also scheming against him by taking the person he's training up to get to him and trying to convert her as a tool against him.
Apparently, like after she beats one of the floors, she like stops talking to him as much, and he's like freaked out because he's like, ah, fuck, what the gods tell her? Like they told her some shit about me, and now she's just gonna be against me. And when she gets up here, we're not gonna work together. She's gonna try and beat me. Like, and she's never going to. Never, ever, ever, never in existence.
No, it will never happen.
Has no chance.
Unless like multiple gods give her gifts, and it's like 20 of them, and she uses all those powers at once. Really, even then,
He found a way to synthesize those, so it doesn't even matter.
he started
All right,
making his
well,
own shit. Oh
Jesus.
God.
All right, so I mean, this sounds like a fascinating thing. I mean, the vibe I'm getting is very much like a darker Sword Art Online that was written well and wasn't about incest.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you covered that with written well.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
you could
dare
argue
you.
Game of Thrones is written well.
I was about to say, I dare you to find a book specifically about incest that was written well.
Bam!
I will,
Done.
I will still, yes, you were right, arguably.
Done in a second.
There's so much incest in
Yeah,
that.
Craster incest, Lannister incest, fucking Targaryen incest, all the incest.
There was that one Community episode.
Yeah, that's true.
But
All right.
anyways,
I guess we have to wrap up because we're.
Okay, I got to do a couple we didn't even get to talk about.
yeah.
Well, no, that's
Yeah,
the
but that
that's the
comes
end
after
bit.
business.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's the end bit.
Again, as always, guys, thank you so much for listening. This is the Treading the Path of Heaven podcast.
We did that part, right?
Yeah, we definitely did that part.
Okay, good. We forgot last time, and I was like concerned.
hi, I'm Bill.
But if you have anything you'd like to reach out to us, we do usually a weekly thread on Reddit, or you can send an email to us at,
tiger.rollercoaster@gmail.com.
or reach
Or-
out to us on Twitter.
At Tiger Coaster or Twitch. We're Tiger Coaster as well, although
Yeah, that's going to be mostly for, I don't know, whatever we feel like putting up. We play Mahjong from time to time. We're going to probably stream that on there.
yeah.
You can also check out my stream at twitch.tv/premiumtax. If you like high-level fighting games, go check it out.
Yeah, no, he's very fascinating to watch. I recommend it.
So I'm pulling up reviews right now. So we've got
We've gotten a few reviews since the show. I think we actually mentioned that last episode as well.
Yeah, we read Fourth Aids, which was fantastic and in universe. And today we're going to read one by Full Plate Jacket. It's called Great Way to Motivate People to Read. It's hard to get motivated to read hundreds or thousands of chapters. Hearing people legitimately excited about these stories is giving me the push to actually dive into stuff like Coiling Dragon that I've put off for a long time. You guys need to review Everyone Else is a Returnee. Or if you haven't read it, read it. Sevens is another great one.
Ooh.
Both completely translated.
I have read Everyone Else's Returnee. I would love to reread that and talk about it.
All right, well,
that sounds
I'll
like
see if
something
I can put in
might
some
be
time,
into. Yeah.
and then maybe me and Richard can get an episode out on that.
Those were both on the novel updates as similar to the tutorial is too hard. So
Oh,
That
for
ties
everyone else
in.
in a returnee, everyone else is a returnee and sevens.
yeah,
those are
top
both
and bottom of the
very
list.
Korean.
Nice.
Yeah, well, Richard and I have a long list of books still to review. Bill's been very aggressively reading Martial World for the past while,
It's been so much fun.
There's a lot of it to go through, apparently.
Lightning Spear Guide, yo.
and
Um,
Seth has actually been toying around with reading a new book. He may have actually gotten the fever.
book.
We'll bring you more updates as time
I was
progresses.
considering upgrade specialist in Another World just because he fights with a brick. That sounds
Brick.
real fun.
Brick boys.
I mean, it's an upgraded brick. It's like a +3 brick.
Well,
Oh
Did
shit!
that brick hit ghosts?
It's a magic brick.
Yeah.
Oh man,
I've read like the first I don't know, maybe like 30 or 40 chapters of Upgrade Specialist in Another World. It was a good read, but I didn't have time to read it, and I've just never picked it back up.
well, I've got
since then,
nothing but
so-
time because
So I'm very excited to hear what you think of it.
yeah. Anyway, this has been Treading the Path of Heaven podcast, like Kenny said earlier.
Yep.
What
so that
did
brings us
y'all
to our-
not get to?
What do we not get to talk about?
Yeah, all right. This guy's Seth. This is your first time being on this side of it.
We didn't even get to talk about the transmutable 1,000 arms and how he got 2 of them, which is very stupid.
2,000 transmutable arms we didn't even get to talk about.
Oh man, we didn't even get to talk about Edie, the lizard woman who wants to be his husband.
Who wants to fuck him so
Oh,
bad?
yeah.
We didn't even get to talk about.
We didn't get to talk about the murder spree he went on. Well, I mean, pick a floor. He had a couple. He went on just murder sprees. We didn't even get to talk about like the Goblin Kingdom.
Oh,
The entire goblin.
Dude, that's such a fucked up hell level. Oh,
Yeah, really messed up.
All right, guys, and the final one we didn't even get to talk about.
We didn't even get to talk about when the strongest guy becomes the ultimate floor boss.
Oh,
Oh
jeez.
my god. It's okay, it's way more fucked up than you could think. Because what happens when you make Lee Ho-jae the guy who you have to beat to progress?
That's pretty bad.
It's bad.
That's
It's a
very
bad
bad.
thing.
right, guys. Thank you so much for listening. We'll be back sometime next week with a new episode, and we'll look forward to seeing you guys then.
What's the episode we're thinking of? Just give them a taste.
Honestly, we might do Overgeared, but we haven't really talked about it. I think.
Oh man, that's 3 Korean novels in a row.
What about Martial God Asura?
Ooh, I'd be willing to talk about Martial God Asura. It's got some negative press, so I'd be happy to give my
I know
spin on
some
that.
things about Martial God Asura,
There are
including
some
the memes.
there are some fucked up things in Martial God Asura. There are some things that are hard to defend. I will give a base attempt because I'm a guy that plays Devil's Advocate. But I there are very legitimate complaints against Martial God Asura. That being said, I do like the story in general.
Out of curiosity, before we end, I just ask one thing. We can end on this, okay?
Mhm.
Is it true he uses rape as an attack strategy?
It happened one time.
That's all we need.
That's enough. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Peace.
Tiger Roller Coaster Productions. Tigers are scary. You try to get off.